Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in for Murder Church on a Sunday. We got Aileen Wuornos taking the stand today, and let's see what happens. Thanks everyone for coming in. Hit the like, give it a share. Let's go.
I get my hair out of my face while I'm doing this.
Therefore, these proceedings are now
putting somebody who was raped.
Let's rock.
Good morning, Murder Church. What's up, everybody? Welcome in here. We have made it. We've made it to Sunday. I've made it to Sunday. Anyways. What's up, everybody? Can I make myself a little bit more... There we go. A little more saturated. Still working with this new light and green screen, trying to get it right. I think it looks pretty good, though. I think I need to put my, what is that? Right here. I need to lift my camera up just the tiniest bit. That's the top of a computer right there. Not very much at all. But welcome in, everybody. Good morning. We got bells. Hold on. Let's see if these things are working. Holy shit. Let's see if these things are still freaking working. I think I fixed these things. Oh my god. Hold on. Let's see if they're working. Should be working. Here we go. Here's the test. Let me find the bells. Yeah. It's been a while since we heard the bells. 2026 coming in strong with the return of some sound effects, hopefully.
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it.
Let's get physical, physical.
Hanging, banging.
Baby, I got your money, don't you worry.
Got some bells. So when I played all those, did those all come through clearly? They're a little glitchy in my head.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Huh. Hopefully they're all good. Hopefully they're all good. What's up, Sleuthy sweetheart? Let me get these names in here so I can see who's hanging out here tonight. Or tonight. This morning. I don't know what time it is. Lord. Boom. Sinead coming through here this morning from Ireland. Damn, nice. And I do. I love the Trailer Park Boys so much. I love the Trailer Park Boys. I haven't seen every Trailer Park Boy for sure. Bassett Page, Sleuthy Sweetheart, Semi Sharp, in the house, Sharon coming through. Brooklyn's got a confession. Whoa, what's up, Brooklyn? You okay? She's killed somebody. My God. Bammy, morning. I think I'm getting everybody. Looks like it. I don't think I missed any beautiful people. Whoa, Sinead coming through. $2 holla. The will, you say? Ask about the will. Well, that's $2. And to get on the wheel here at Publicly Buzzed, yeah, you just got to give a donation. I always look. I've been still looking over here for a camera that doesn't exist. Here's the camera. A donation, whether that's to YouTube, whether that's to PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, anything like that. If you become a member here, not only do you get on the wheel for a possible goodie win, but also you can get on also become a member of the book club. Totally lost train of thought there. I was like, where was I going with that? Yep, you can become a member of the book club along with getting on the wheel. So let me get you on here, Sinead. I appreciate that. Hopefully you're doing well. Happy New Year also. Put you on here. Yeah, we are 5 people on this new will already. So we're building one here. We should actually, yeah, I think I'll spin the secret wheel that the beautiful people got on for the free t-shirt possibility as well. We can spin that today. Not as many people came out for this one. I think I've got, who have I got here? True Crown Butterfly, Semi-Sharp, Hammy, Just a Crazy Jen, Teresa, Wildside Page, and Tiff will be on the secret wheel for a possibility of a free t-shirt this morning. And yeah, anybody can always get on that wheel. Well, not always. It's really just for the week when I first drop a brand new video over on Wrestle Plunge. And so yeah, we'll give away a t-shirt this morning for sure. We don't mess around with the merch. The merch is professional for sure. Absolutely for sure. Yeah, everybody, welcome. Did Brooklyn say what her confession was? Brooklyn's gonna leave us hanging. She just left. Oh God. Oh, what the hell? She couldn't even get it out before they came and arrested her. Oh my God. That's right. Man, Sleuthy not only won her last will, I think she won her first will. Her first ever opportunity on the wheel. Pulled that thing off. So, all right. But yeah, this morning we are starting out with Aileen Wuornos on the stand. What do we got here to start with? An hour 16, and there's a second video as well. So we'll be hanging out with her for a little bit this morning. Again, I hope everyone's having a great weekend, having a great day so far. And yeah, we're going to get in here. We're going to rock and roll. Make sure I'm not missing anything over here. I don't believe I am. And yeah, we'll keep going. What is your confession? What is happening? I love you guys. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Check her out here. See what we got. Let's get these down here. Let's get these over here. Everyone that did come through on the new video, thank y'all so much. That video is push. Hopefully it'll hit 30,000 views. And then the video for the last video, not the John Cena one that did absolutely horrible, and I took down immediately. But the one before that, the Jim Cornette video, it just hit. One of my major goals since making docu-style videos on that channel has been to hit 100K on a video that I made. And that one hit 100,000 yesterday. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, we hit 10,000 people over there. That thing's growing pretty significantly. I'm excited about it. But yeah, we'll get a virtual will going for a free t-shirt for these beautiful people right here. And yeah. Oh, hold on. Gotta get the sound. There we go.
Yes, Judge.
Not to make any assumptions, right? Judge, I'm going to ask Dr. McMahon just to be excluded as we agreed at the bench.
The rule has been closed.
Judge, we discussed the issue at the bench. We made a formal request that Dr. McMahon.
God, it was these my nose. Oh God. Allergies are already trying to get me this morning.
Be allowed to explaining the subject matter of the testimony and what is perceived. I think Your Honor agreed with Mr. Zamore's objection to that procedure. We think it would be significant.
Well, that's wild, Brooklyn. Holy shit. Yeah, I've been seeing all the pictures in the news. That's just nuts, dude.
Underage for the defense to have Dr. McMahon present in the courtroom, but I won't put it in Your Honor's order.
The rule was invoked, and the rule will be enforced.
I think the next step, Your Honor, is for the state had a sort of semi-rest yesterday. We need a formal rest.
Yes, sir. We can do that in front of the jury. Are you ready to totally rest now?
Yes, sir. State is ready to rest.
You may proceed, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, we would renew all previous.
First of all, a good sound clip for this trial would be "Come on, Aileen," actually. But I just got these back. They're still in my head sound just like a little off, which I don't like. But if they're sounding good out there, which I can check on the stream after, so hopefully we'll be all good. I got so many. Shit. All right, they're sounding better. Maybe they got to wake up too. They're sounding good. They're sounding good.
Motions, renew all previous requests for mistrial, renew all previous objections and applications that the defense has made. I don't know if the court would like to have argument on all of those.
Would be the same as made at the time they were imposed, rather than
Pretty much, yeah.
state relying from the same argument heard.
Yes, sir.
Ruling would be the same.
One additional matter is to the Williams rule evidence, Your Honor. We would ask the court to reconsider and to grant the mistrial with regard to the Williams rule issue. And the reason for that is that although the court initially ruled on the state's request that the Williams rule evidence be introduced, what the court subsequently heard is the Williams rule evidence becoming a feature of this trial. I dare say that the majority of this trial had nothing to do with Mr. Mallory. Given that, we would submit that the Williams rule question in this case has gone beyond the bounds of the proper admission of Williams rule evidence, and we would formally request a mistrial at this time.
Mr. Moore?
Your Honor, I think we've made this argument before. The state's proper conformed with what we explained to the court we would be seeking. Go specifically to the intent of this defendant to murder Mr. Mallory, as well as the lack of any self-defense claim, as well as also the proof of the use of the murder weapon in this case. For those reasons, Judge, and all others that were argued before this court, we respectfully submit that the Williams rule testimony was properly admitted, did not become a feature of this case, and based upon the defense raised by the defendant through counsel, through cross-examination, and an opening statement, the state put the proper amount of Williams rule testimony before the jury, and this court should deny the motion for mistrial.
Motion for mistrial denied.
Your Honor, at this time, we would formally move for judgment of acquittal on Ms. Wuornos' behalf. And there are different reasons for that motion. Let me try to take them one at a time. The first reason would be that the state has failed to prove or establish the identity of the decedent. Your Honor has heard a great deal of evidence of varying degrees of materiality introduced by the state of Florida during the course of the proceedings. What the record of this case does not reflect is an identification of the decedent as Mr. Mallory. Corpus delicti in that sense has not been established. You heard testimony that the decedent's hands were sent off to Tallahassee. You never heard any evidence about a fingerprint comparison. You never heard any evidence about somebody identifying the decedent in this case sufficient to establish corpus delicti. And that would be the first request for motion for mistrial. For judgment of acquittal. Sorry, Judge.
Go ahead, make it.
You want to do them all? Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Sure. The second, Your Honor, would be that there has been insufficient evidence presented on the issue of robbery. Taking the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, looking at the evidence in the light most favorable to the prosecution's presentation, what you have in this case is a state theory predicated on a premeditated murder. That's what the state is arguing. The state has not presented any evidence of robbery. Under the law, one cannot commit a robbery against a decedent. And so even if the state's evidence is taken at face value, what you have here is a decedent from whom property was taken. That is insufficient to establish robbery. And we would move for judgment of acquittal on robbery and on felony murder under that argument.
Do you have a case on that, sir?
I don't have it with me, but I do know there are a bunch of cases on that issue, Your Honor. I can get them for you by the end.
So we got the state closing here, and it looks like that the defense's first witness is going to be Aileen. So hopefully it doesn't take us 16 million years to get there.
Today, if you like, or maybe Mr. Miller knows.
Judge, I will present the court with a case directly on the point, but that is exactly the opposite of what counsel represents. He's citing this old case law that was done prior to the change of the law. where it indicated that you could not rob a dead man. In this instance, Judge, I think the facts certainly are not that this man was dead by some outside agency other than Ms. Wuornos, and then his property was taken. Force, violence, and fear was done directly by Ms. Wuornos to Mr. Mallory in the perpetration of the robbery. The fact that he may have been dead or languishing and she robbed him of his property and took his car and his money and rummaged through his pockets simply doesn't hold water when you look at the facts of the case. In addition, the law doesn't allow for
I'll let you have an opportunity to argue me too. I just wanted to know if you had a case.
What I'll tell you, Your Honor, is there are cases on those. I don't have it right in front of me. I can submit them to Your Honor as we proceed here. Finally, Your Honor, we would move for judgment of acquittal on the, well, we would also move for judgment of acquittal on various predicate issues. Those have been raised during the course of the proceedings, and Your Honor has ruled on those. I don't know if Your Honor wants an elaborate argument on those at this time. And then, Your Honor, we would also submit that even taking the evidence in the light most favorable to the state has not established premeditated murder in this case. You have a great deal of evidence relating to other decedents that the state has presented. There is also evidence that Mr. Mallory died. However, all taking the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, Ms. Wuornos did indicate that the decedent was acting violently towards her. Taking the evidence as far as what happened at the time of the decedent's death in the light most favorable to the state, you do not have a case of first-degree murder. You do not have a case of premeditation. You may have a lesser degree of homicide, but on that issue of premeditation, a first-degree case has not been made out. With those arguments and renewing our previous objections and our previous motions, and on state and federal constitutional grounds, we would request that Your Honor reconsider your previous rulings and grant the judgment of acquittal at this time, either as to the entirety of the indictment or as to the highest grade crimes charged in the indictment.
Is that all, sir?
I think so, Judge.
All right, sir.
Your Honor, very briefly, the state has met its burden in this case amply before the law. Looking at the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, this matter should be presented to the jury. The defense should be required to go forward. We'd ask that the motion be denied on all bases.
Your rebuttal.
No rebuttal, Judge.
Reviewing the testimony presented to the jury, the court finds that evidence has been presented that presents a prima facie case. The jury questions both the direct objection which was denied. All other orders entered by the court that have been attacked are ratified and affirmed.
Thank you, Judge. We have the matter relating to Ms. Davis, which we'll take up subsequently.
Yes, sir. Is Davis the last name?
Yes.
I wrote Jackie and I put question mark.
Judge, can we just approach on that for just 1 second?
Anything further?
Yes, Your Honor, there are a couple of additional applications. Ms. Wuornos will be testifying today. In that regard, there are certain applications we need to clear up in advance relating to potential cross-examination. We would first request that the state of Florida not engage in any cross-examination relating to statements that Ms. Wuornos may have made to experts appointed by the court for the state of Florida. As Your Honor knows, those experts were seen by Ms. Wuornos under court order. Ms. Wuornos had to speak to those experts, and it would be improper, we would submit, for her to be cross-examined when testifying as to those statements. They're compelled. Statements are a classic example of compelled testimony because they were done, compelled statements because they were done under court order. So that would be our first application. The state may not intend to get into that, but I thought that would be something that would be wisest to take up in advance so that we can have sort of a plan as to where we're going.
So let's don't borrow trouble until it arrives, and so no need for me to address myself on that.
Yes, Judge. The second area in that regard would be statements that Ms. Wuornos may or may not have made to defense experts. Again, we have not opened the door to those types of issues at this juncture.
Again, there's nothing before the court, but representation of counsel, I'll address those things.
Finally, Your Honor, we would also request that the state not cross-examine Ms. Wuornos on, and as attorneys, we all know what these are, on classically impermissible areas such as remorse and issues along those lines. I assume Your Honor is going to say we'll cross that bridge when we get to it as well.
I'm never been able to tell any lawyer anything, so. And we'll rule accordingly.
Yes, Judge. Ms. Wuornos, we understand, has one felony conviction that both parties are aware of that the state will be employing, I assume, on cross-examination. And I'm trying to think of what else as a preliminary matter there is. Yes, Judge. Actually, there is one additional matter. As Your Honor knows from the many lengthy days of Williams Rule testimony that you've heard here, there are other pending indictments in reference to Ms. Wuornos, and there are other cases, some of which the three attorneys before you represent her on. We have advised and will advise Ms. Wuornos to assert her Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights in reference to those cases. We would submit that it is highly prejudicial and very inflammatory for the state on cross-examination, because we are here on the Mallory case, to inquire as to those other cases. We would also submit that having a procedure by which the Fifth Amendment is asserted before the jury is unnecessary and prejudicial, and since we are representing at this juncture that is what Ms. Wuornos will do upon our advice, that it would be
Your Honor, Judge Turd.
improper for the state to ask the question. The only reason to ask questions relating to other cases would be to get the answer we all know that's going to come, namely that the Fifth Amendment will be asserted. And we would request that that area not be touched on during
My
cross-examination.
understanding of the law that only convictions can be addressed, and I will rule accordingly.
But Judge, what I'm saying is, it's one thing for the question to be asked, smoke to hit the air, and Your Honor to rule. It's another thing
I will rule when it hits the air.
What I'm saying is it should not hit the air, Your Honor, because it would be highly unfair to do that.
Leave that to the ethics of the attorneys.
Yes, Judge.
And
That's it, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Any further?
Your Honor, we have until about 9:45.
Well, 9:45, or I had a jury coming in at 9:30.
We'd like to have a little additional time. This announcement we were in depositions last night till well after dark.
All right. The counsel, you're supposed to finish and tell the jury what's going on.
About to follow your new account here, Sinead. I see your message here. Here we go. Here we go.
Please state your full name for the record.
Aileen Wuornos.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, if you can't hear me at any time, let me know. Okay?
And I would also ask them that you speak loudly enough for the interviewer to hear you.
Okay.
You might need to come a little closer to the microphone if you can. Okay? How old are you?
35.
Where are you from?
Troy, Michigan.
When did you leave home or come to Florida?
Around 14 years old.
Okay. Where had you been living just prior when you were 14 years old and you decided to come to Florida?
I was living in Troy, Michigan.
Okay, with your family?
Yes.
Why did you come to Florida?
Because when I was younger and I was living out in the streets, I was sleeping in the snow and all. It was too cold, and I had to come to Florida where it was warmer weather and seek warmer shelter.
Okay. How did you come to Florida?
I hitchhiked
And did you come with a friend, or how did you come?
by myself.
How did you support yourself during those early years?
Well, I had a couple jobs for 75 cents an hour, but I basically was a prostitute.
Okay. Well, when did you start becoming a prostitute, Lee?
At the age of 16.
Okay. And how did that happen? How did you end up getting into that particular profession?
Well, there was when I was hitchhiking, a lot of guys would pick me up and they'd ask me if I wanted to make some money. And they'd give me like $60 or $100.
My bad. I'm so sorry. I still got the fucking turd monster hanging out here. That's my bad. Right on the forehead. I was making some posts.
And back in them days, $2, you could get a $2 meal for, yeah, I mean, a cheap meal. So it was really good money. I was only making 75 cents an hour, and it was excellent money to help me because I was on the road. And so I took the offer, and that's where I became a hitchhiking prostitute.
Were you always in Florida doing that?
See if I can find you on this.
Were you always,
No, I
always
was
in
all over the
Florida?
United States.
Okay. And how old were you when you finally came to Florida to settle? Do you remember?
Yes, I was about, well, I was 16 when I came to Florida. But I mean, to just settle, I was about 20.
Gotcha, Belgium.
Have you ever had any children?
Yes, I have one son.
And how old were you then?
He should be about 21 or
How old were
22.
you when you had him?
Oh, I was 14.
Okay. And did you give the child up, or what happened?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Let her answer the question.
My grandmother made me give the child up. My parents, my grandmother and grandfather.
You thought of your grandparents as your parents?
Yes, they adopted me.
Born in strict 9.
How often over the last few years, let's start 4 or 5 years ago, how often would you go out during the week to hustle on the highways?
Just previously?
Let's say the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, I would go out about anywhere from 3 to 7 days. It depended. It basically 4 days out of a week for sure.
Okay. And how many men would you say you'd have contact with during the course of a day?
I would say I had at least anywhere from 3 to 8. It depended, it varied, but definitely 3 a day at least. I mean, but it varied. I could have 6, I could have 8.
And not all of those or were all of those contacts sexual?
Yes, those are sexual
Okay.
contact.
And did you have contacts with men on the road that weren't sexual? Or
Oh,
just a
yes.
ride?
Every day, at least 8 to 15, because I worked from exit to exit.
Okay, explain that. You worked from exit to exit.
Well, I would leave Daytona, and there's times I'd spend the whole day on the road or the whole night, and I'd stay 2 or 3 days gone. And I just worked from one exit to the other. If a guy would pick me up and he wasn't interested, now a lot of guys asked me too. I didn't have to ask them.
Okay.
And if they were interested, fine, but if they weren't, I'd just get off the next exit and try again.
Okay. There came a time when you met Tyree Moore. When was that?
1986, I believe.
And describe your relationship with Ty.
Well, I met her at the Zodiac, and from the very first day I met her, we fell head over heels with each other, and at the first year, we were pretty, kind of sexual, but the second year and the third year and on, we became like sisters, and I loved her very deeply. She loved me very deeply, but we didn't care about the sex part anymore. We just cared about each other. We were really, really close, like a knot, tied like a rope, like a knot on a rope.
Did your, I'm going to call it hustling because that's what you've called it. Your hustling stop once you got into the relationship with Ty?
No, matter of fact, she quit her job at El Caribe. The first month that I was with her, she quit her job because I told her I make $150 a day or better, and you only make $150 a week. So if you want to quit, I'll support you. And she was all for it, and she continued to support me like a cheerleader. She wanted me out there. She told me all the time to go out and make more money.
We're in jam.
Did you begin to go out?
Right? We see so many interviews where she's just like, a maniac, right? I'm interested to see what happens on cross with the prosecutor.
More often? Did there come a time you started to
Well,
go out more often?
the last year, she didn't like the trailer living, and she just constantly was telling me that I wasn't providing enough for her, that she wanted me to go out there and make more money because she wanted me to get a pressure cleaner business again and also get a house for her and everything else. So she said, I want you to go out there more often. She was pretty much like my pimp, it seemed, like I was a white slave. I didn't realize it, but she'd tell me to go on out there. If I didn't, she was going to break up with me and find another girl that would definitely take care of her, and I loved her to the max, and I wasn't going to do that.
Did you talk about your experiences on the road with her?
Not really.
Why not?
She didn't want to hear it. She always told me not to talk to her about it. She didn't care what happened to me out there.
Did you try to talk to her about Richard Mallory?
Yeah, I did, but she didn't want to listen.
And during the times that you were with Ty, did she ever work?
Tyra worked when I first met her at Al Carib, then she quit a month. I took care of her, and then she worked for a couple times at Separate Hills Motel, but she didn't get any money. That was for board, so I took care of her there. The only solid job she ever had, she was a laundry worker for 2 months, and that didn't work long, so forget that. The only solid job she had was Casa Del Mar the last year. She was making like about $300 every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or $277, something like that.
And was she working when you two split up?
No,
Had she quit her job?
she got fired.
Do you know why?
She beat up her boss.
So during these periods of time, were you supporting her?
Yes.
What were you spending your money on?
Oh, wow. Well, see, I wanted to...
Just well, what happened? Why'd you lose your job? I mean, just a difference of opinions, I guess. No, I'd kick my boss's ass. I beat the living shit out. Whoa!
Save up for like a house and the pressure cleaner and everything else. And every time I came home with money, she always wanted to go to the mall, buy clothes. I never bought clothes for myself. I had a bra even that had Band-Aids on it and safety pin and everything. I mean, I never could... I just took care of her. I didn't really seem to want to care about myself. I just took care of her and bought her a lot of clothes and everything, and a lot of times she'd just go to the bars, and we'd go to fancy restaurants and bars, and we blew it all in basically bars. I mean, $100, I saw her spend $200 in a quarter machine for stuffed animals in one night, just on quarters machine.
All right, that may be a problem. $300 on the claw machine? Like, what the fuck? Or, bro.
Whatever she wanted, she got it. I loved her very much.
Did you like to drink too?
Yes, I drank.
Did you drink a lot?
Just as much as her. We always kept even. We always made sure we were drinking the same amount, so one wouldn't have more than the other. That's how close we were. We did everything together.
Would you drink when you were out on the road working?
Yeah, I drank about, I'd say anywhere from 2 to 6 beers, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Why would you drink out on the road?
Well, it was like my tranquilizer. I was shy and hard to sometimes... I was just shy. I was embarrassed about my body because I had a whipped. Well, I was just shy, and it was my tranquilizer, and plus I was scared out there sometimes. I was nervous, but I knew that was my profession. It's the only thing I could do, so.
Did you accept rides with men of all ages?
Yes, I did. Yeah, but.
Go ahead.
But the young guys I decided not to deal with because I've learned throughout time that they were always high, they were always stoned on or something, and they just seemed a little more like aggressive and like a violent attitude or something. I didn't trust them. And they always were stoned or something. And I don't do drugs, so.
Prior to meeting Richard Mallory, had you ever been hurt while you were out working on the road?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, twice I had mace guns, and they got those away from me and beat me up pretty bad and raped me. And then I had this bullfighter mace that a friend of mine gave me.
Objection, Your Honor, to the question not specifying some kind of time frame or time reference.
Later practice.
Within the last 5 years,
No way.
starting with,
No way. What I think is happening, I mean, you know, we're also going to see Cross, and we're still going to see a lot more of this, I'd imagine, but, you know, let's be honest. She's trying to save her life here. I think we're getting a mixed bag of truth and lies. It's interesting, and, you know, it's up for everybody to kind of make their own, you know, distinction and come up with their own opinions about it, but yeah, man. She's going to give you some mixed bag here, I believe. There ain't no way. Come on.
the first time within the last 5 years, we'll go back later, if you would tell the jury about any instances and where you were living when these occurred.
Okay. I was living with Tyra and on Oleander, and it was, you want the year or something?
If you recall the year.
Yes, it was in 86 and 87 and 88.
Okay.
And also there was a couple of guys that raped me without any weapon, and I got hurt on that and everything.
Okay. When you were a young girl, just starting out, were you ever physically hurt while you were out on the road? And if you were, again, tell us where you were and how old you were.
Okay, I was hurt a couple of times. There was this guy in Jeffersonville, Indiana. He was a third-degree karate and judo instructor and a seventh grade school teacher, and I met him in a lounge, and he beat me up so bad you couldn't describe my face. And I got away from him. When I finally got help and the police arrived, they told me that he raped a police officer's daughter and disfigured her face so bad you couldn't describe it, and that he'd killed 2 teenagers, and they were in the backyard of his house, buried in cement.
I'm sorry, what? The cops are telling you this? Okay.
I was lucky. I got away, and it took me about...
Maybe thought that story through a little bit. I mean...
well, I did a report and everything, but I don't know what happened. If they were just beating him up with flashlights and everything else and told me not to say anything. I was beat up. It took me about 2 months to recover. I still had yellow and purple and everything on my face.
Like, that right there, that story. I bet there's some truth to that. And she might have even gotten beat up by this guy. But the cop stuff telling her, and hell, like, maybe that goes back to don't believe everything you hear. You know how some people just say some wild shit, you know? Like, even cops, but like, he's got 2 people buried in his backyard. He sexually assaulted a police officer's daughter so bad and disfigured her. Like, what?
Why didn't you quit working the roads after you've been hurt?
Because it was my only way I could, well, see, like I tried to get churches to help me, and they told me I had to be a part of the congregation, and they wouldn't help me. I tried to be a police officer when I was 20 years old. They told me I had to have $3,000 for tuition, and then they'd send me to some academy or something like that. I didn't have my GED. Then I tried to be a correctional officer here in Daytona, and they told me I had to have a car. I didn't have a car, I only had a bicycle. Then I tried the Salvation Army. They told me I can only crash at their place for 1 day out of every 364 years. You can only stay 1 night. And I tried and tried and tried to help myself. I took the aptitude Berry test for the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and I missed by 3 to 5 points every time. And I thought that would help me get off the road by just going into the government military field, and I didn't pass. That took me 2 years because you got to wait 6 months every time to take the aptitude battery test. And so the only thing I could do was
Yeah, I still think
be a
there's some
prostitute
truth.
and live off of.
And I bet she was abused, dude. And I bet there's absolute instances of her being sexually assaulted, like multiple times, sure. Like, but I think what's going to get messed, and probably is ultimately messing her up here, at the end of the day, the murder, I think that she is a cold-blooded murderer. I really do think that. Even no matter if it was because of her hard life or however she got there, at the end of the day, you know, under whatever law you're doing here in the courtroom, I think that probably what happened to her at the end of the trial probably was warranted, but, you know, I think probably what's hurting her the most here is weaving in the lies with the truth to make yourself look great, right? Because think about it. We've all done shitty things, all right? And even if it's not your perspective that you've done something shitty, you know, and that's a terrible thing for folks as well, right? They can't see the bad that they're doing ever, no matter what. That can't admit you've ever done anything wrong in your life thing. So I think she's not doing herself any favors by painting this picture that she could do no wrong, and this was all put on me, you know. And again, it started out rough as hell. It seems like she did have a horrible childhood, you know, being homeless as a teenager, becoming a sex worker as a 16-year-old. Like, all of that is absolutely horrible and horrendous, but, you know, it doesn't make other things right that she did later. Like, I don't know, man. It's interesting is what it is. Super interesting. Good morning, Carrie.
I lived here and there and everywhere. But I had apartments at one time, but then I lost them and stuff. And
what's so weird about her is, like, and me and Chris went back and forth on it, and, like, you know, people in the chat, I know that from the very first episode when I took a poll, it was the most split poll I've ever seen. Some people are more on her side, and some people are, you know, not so much on her side. And I get split up on it because at the end of the day, I do think that she is probably deserved what she got ultimately, truly. But also feel bad for her when I hear her tell the stories about her life, about what happened, about the abuse. It's just like, I'm very empathetic, man. I could cry songs on the radio pretty regularly, like, and I just get fucked up by, like, empathy. So, like, I feel horrible.
Do you remember catching a ride with Richard Mallory?
yes,
If you remember, when did you meet him?
it was at the end of November,
Of what year?
1989.
Where were you when you first met Richard Mallory?
I was on I-4 underneath an I-75 overpass.
Okay. And describe the first meeting that you had with him.
Well, I was coming from Fort Myers. I had spent a couple nights there. The second night, I left Fort Myers. I left about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And it took me about 6 rides to get to I-4. I finally arrived at I-4. It was raining. So I walked down the ramp to I-4. And it was raining, so I got underneath the bridge, and I was waiting for it to stop raining, and I was pretty much off into where the viaduct, I think you call her, with that slab of cement. I was right under there, away from the vehicles, because when they were passing, it was spraying rain all over me. So I was over there waiting for it to stop raining. Then it slowed down, and I decided I was going to walk toward the light. There was a big light out there.
Don't go into the light, Aileen. Don't go.
I was going to walk under it so they could tell, what if I was a girl or a guy or, what I was. And as I started to walk, a vehicle pulled over before I even got past the bridge. And then its lights came on, it started backing toward me, and I didn't know if it was a bunch of guys in a car or what, but anyway, a vehicle passed, and its headlights went on in the vehicle, and I saw one head, so I felt all right, walked up to the car. I opened the door and I said, did you stop for me? And he said, yeah. Are you going to Orlando? I said, no, I'm going to Daytona. He said, oh, wow, you're a lucky day, man, because I'm going all the way to Daytona. I said, oh, wow, this is great. So I got in the car, and we proceeded down the road.
Let me ask you something, Lee. At this time, the time that you met Richard Mallory, had you started carrying a gun?
I carried the gun 6 months before, at least, or 4 months. I can't really recall when, but it was in Rutland when I got the pistol.
Okay. And why were you carrying a gun?
For strictly protection.
If you will, describe your trip with Mr. Mallory from the time he picked you up until, let's say, Orlando.
Okay. All right, when he picked me up and now we're going down the road. Okay.
Just, if you will, were you having a conversation with him?
Yes, okay.
Can you tell us about that?
All right, so when he picked me up.
Let's see if this works. Boom, I got sound effects back.
He asked me, you know, where I was going. I told him Daytona. I was real glad and everything. We started down the road. He asked me if I wanted to drink. He had some kind of, I didn't know what it was. I just saw tonic bottles, and then I thought it said Smirnoff. I'm not sure. And he asked me if I wanted to drink, and then I asked him, I said, well, what is it? He says, vodka. So I said, all right. And I think he had orange juice. And I said, sure, I'll take a drink, you know. So he pulled over and he made me a drink, and then we started back on the road. And then he asked me if I wanted to smoke some marijuana. I said, no, my hands swell, my feet swell, my heart beats a mile a minute. I can't stand it, but you know.
I swell up like a balloon. You give me any weed, oh my God. It looks like I got stung by a bee and I was allergic. Dear fucking, do not even smoke that shit around me.
You smoke it, that's your business. And he said, well, then you don't mind. I said, it's your car. I don't care what you do. It's up to you. And he said, okay. So he's smoking marijuana and we're going down the road. And then he asked me what I did. And I told him I'm into pressure cleaning. And I asked him what he did. He said he had a video store that he owned.
Brooklyn, so. Yeah, these things are finicky now. I gotta watch them. There you go. Brooklyn, so.
I don't do drugs though, just weed.
Lord.
And then he was on his way to Daytona. He was telling me about his video store. He was on his way to Daytona to see some topless bars, and if I knew any girls out there that'd be interested in pornography films, that he'd give $2,000 to $3,000 an hour for these sessions. And I told him I don't know anybody. I'm into pressure cleaning, and I only got one girlfriend that I know, and I know she wouldn't be interested, so sorry, I can't help you there. And so we just talked about anything, politics, religion, talked about his store a lot. And still on the sex part now and then, but I told him I don't know anybody, constantly on that stuff. Finally arrived to Orlando, and he asked me if I wanted any beer instead of the mixed drink, because I had told him that I don't drink mixed drinks that much, and that I haven't had a mixed drink in about 10 years, it seems.
Had you had any other alcohol that day?
Yes,
I
I drank.
In the car with him?
I drank beer in Fort Myers. I just came out of the office pub on my way back to Daytona. See, I had made around $300, and I only had about 250 or 60 left. I didn't want to blow it because I had to get back and get that apartment. Okay.
So, what did you do once you got to Orlando?
Okay, so when I got to Orlando, he went ahead and he bought a 6-pack for me. I think it was Bush. He asked me if I wanted to pack cigarettes. I said, no, thank you, I've got some already. And then he just got a little more gas, and we went down the road. We got past Orlando, and we had to stop, go to the bathroom, so we got out and we went to the bathroom. Then I got back in. He was talking about his wife or his ex-wife. I don't remember if he was married or not married or nothing, but he was talking about having problems with this lady. He was worried about losing his video store, and he was losing his business. He's going to lose his house. He's going to lose his car. He's going to lose everything. And I don't know if he was married or not.
Okay. Did you proposition him?
No,
Why not?
because I was too exhausted and everything. I had enough money and I just wanted to get home. All I wanted to do was get home. That's all I cared about.
Okay.
It was late. It was about 11:30 when he picked me up
Okay.
at night.
So tell us what happened next.
Okay, so anyway, then we stopped, went to the bathroom. Then he kept asking me, he said, well, how come you understand married people so well? And I said, well, because I always talk to a lot of married people. He said, but I just can't, man, you're just like a psychologist or a counselor. I mean, you're a good listener and you also give good advice. I said, well, thank you, So then he said, do you mind if we just kind of stop somewhere and talk for a little while? I'd like to, listen to your advice and stuff. You're helping me and stuff. And I said, well, I really want to get home. I'm really tired and everything, and I've been hitchhiking for so long. And he said, well, I mean, let's just go talk for an hour or something. I mean, I'll take you home. And I said, well, it's getting pretty late. If I go home, the dog's I don't have a key on me. If I go home, the dog's gonna start barking. The manager lives right next door, and I'm gonna have to wake up Ty in the middle of the night. She has to go to work early in the morning. Casa Del Mar, she was still working. So I said, well, I guess I wouldn't mind stopping and talking to you, because I've got to pass a little time anyway. I'm gonna have to wait till in the morning. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might even have to, get a motel or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, because it's too late for me to, I don't want Maggie to wake up the manager, because he's already in the mood to kick us out. Okay. So, then he said, well, okay, I'll give you a lift home. I said, well, great, then that's gonna save me on taxi money too. So he said, all right. He said, well, where do you live around? I said, well, you gotta get off at US 1 and then you go to Granada. You take Granada over to A1A and then you go north, and I live at the Ocean Shores, I think it was called, motel. So then we continued. We decided, okay, I'd stop. So he got off of I-4 to 95, went north, got to US 1, got off, and he parked at a gas station.
How long had it taken you to get to that point from when he first picked you up? Do you know?
It was about 2.5 hours from Daytona.
Yeah, from when he first
2.5
picked you up
hours.
until you got to this place where he stops to get gas, at a
Yeah.
gas station, I guess.
I'd say 2.5 hours.
Okay. All right, so what happened after you stopped that time?
Okay, so then he said, well, where can we park? And I said, well, anywhere, this is fine. You can park right there if you want to. And he said, no, I'm smoking pot and I don't want to get busted, and plus we got all this booze and stuff, and a patrol car comes by. And I said, well, if you go north up here, there's a whole lot of places up here, and there's even Quail Run. They've got like a subdivision up there, and it's out near Benell, and it's really quiet up there if you want to go there. So he said, okay, let's go and check that place out. So we went over there, and we're sitting there talking, and we talked for at least, I'd say, an hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking about everything. He still asked me about
You want to see something? Oh, shit. Fuck. Hold on.
the pronos and all that stuff, and I said, no.
Were you drinking?
Yes. I was drinking beer, he was drinking his mixed drinks, and he was still smoking his pot. I couldn't believe he was smoking so much pot. I even asked him what kind it was eventually, and he said Sensimilli, and I've heard Sensimilli some heavy pot, so I couldn't believe it. But he was handling it, and he was doing all right. And so then we were talking away and everything, and okay, so he asked me, how come if you know married people, you're so good at counseling and everything, if you know married people so well?
I just wanted to get a picture of Richard Mallory. So, because I'm like, this guy's fucking partying down the road. He's drinking booze. He doesn't give any fucks, smoking pot. Dude, this is like, what, 1989, 1990? You're going to fucking jail, dude. Like, you are fucked. Like, alcohol still, of course, but that, it's just, it paints a picture in my head of like a wild guy, right? You're like, this is a wild fucking dude. And it may be, I'm not saying it's not. I've known a lot of older wild motherfuckers in my life, especially being from the South. family included, by the way, that's done some really dumb motherfucking shit well into their 60s and shit. But look at this guy. I wanted to show him off here. Richard Mallory. This is the guy. Oh shit, hold on, let me move her head. Look at this cat. Right here. This dude's coming up. This guy pulls up beside you and says, "You like to fucking party? Huh? You like to party, baby? Look what I got. Big bag of fucking weed, dude. Fucking all the drink shit." What movie is it? There's a movie or TV show. Fuck. I think it was one of the movies we watched on Feral Friday. Like, dude, like, gets out of his car and has, like, a full bar in his trunk, like, ready to go. Like, that's what I'm picturing with this guy right now. He's like, "Hold on, baby." And he goes back and just makes, like, a bunch of mixed drinks. He's like, "Anything you want. Full bar in the back." He's just, like, in a fucking Cadillac.
Well, you told me you're single and you have a roommate. How can you know so many married people? So then I finally told him, I said, I guess I'm going to have to explain to you, Richard, because you're being so honest with me, and I'm going to be honest with you. I said, I'm a hooker. I hustle for a living. And he said, "Hustle, you mean a sex?" And I said, "Yeah, this is sex." Okay. So then he...
That's a good question, actually. I'm not sure. I think she's looking to the right there. I would imagine.
He said, "Well, God, I thought we were gonna get it on. I mean, eventually get it on together, but you don't do it free. You do it for money, right?" I said, "That's right, I do it for money." He said, "So you don't do it for free, right?" I said, "No, I don't. This is my job. This is what I do for a living."
Okay, so what would you do next after you had that conversation with him?
Then he asked me how much I charged, and I said 30 per head, 35 straight, 40 for half and half, 100 an hour. And he said, and I said, "Well, 100 an hour, I don't usually, make the person, well, after an hour's up, I don't say, well, you got to give me another $100. If the guy's all right, I'm just staying with him, we become friends. I just, thanks a lot, because I only want enough for rent and whatever. I don't care about. I'm not greedy. I don't care about making any more. 100's fine. It's good enough for rent. That's cool. They're now my friends. They're now another client." And so that's what I told him, and he said, "So you mean tell me if I gave you $100, we could spend a couple hours together?" And I said, "I guess so. I've been with you all this time, and plus I've got to wait for dawn to come because I can't get home." And he said, "All right, well, that sounds okay with me." He said, "Where's another place to go? Because we can't go here. I mean, it's wide open and everything." I said, "Well, if we go back near the gas stations, there's a campground there, and there's some little places that kind of pull off in the road if you want to go there." He said, "Okay." So we started cruising down there. And he fixed another drink, and he's smoking another...
Hey, we become friends. Fuck it. Shit, we could hang out a couple hours. I don't really give a fuck. Shit, I got my $100.
I mean, and he had this pipe that went into the marijuana, and it just twisted, and then I don't know what it's called, but that's what he was doing.
I want to know more about what this guy's doing with weed at this point, actually. Like, she's making it sound a little mystical, a little magical. And I'm like, listen.
I couldn't believe how much he smoked. And I grabbed another beer, and I told him, I said, "Oh my God, I forgot to tell you, I use rubbers, it's mandatory." And he said, I said, "We might have to stop at the gas station and get some rubbers because I don't have any." He said, "No, I got some." I said, "Oh, okay, that's good." So we started.
Bad boy like this, rubbers, ha!
Started down the road, and
I just can't get over the way he looked. Like that guy was a bad boy. Like I'm not saying he's not, dude. Hell, look at most of the shitty people in the world. What, they look like fucking nerds.
finally we got to the area. We couldn't see into the trail, so he asked me to get a flashlight out of the glove box. And so I got a flashlight out of the glove box, and I'm looking around. We finally saw the trail. We went in. You couldn't go too far in at all. We were real close to the road, and cars were going by, and you could see. So he took a smaller, tinier flashlight out of the glove box and put it on the dash, so they wouldn't see the dome light, because we were pretty close to the road. And then he said, well, I got an idea. How about if we both do this now, we both get undressed, so I know that you won't skip out on my money. And I said, well, Richard, I've never rolled a client in my life. I've never skipped out on anybody, but I can understand, I think, what you're saying, because I told you I use rubbers, and I ain't gonna do it without any rubbers with anybody. I don't care. No exception to the rule, and I'm precautious, so I guess you're being precautious too. So, okay, that sounds fine with me.
Is that unusual for you to take off all of your clothes first?
No, because I used to do it all the time to let my clients know that I wasn't gonna leave on them or anything, you know. So I was being honest with them. Hey, I'm all right. I'm a good, you know, I'm cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? Did you take your clothes off? After you had that conversation with him?
Well, he told me he had to go back and get some rubbers out of the trunk. He said, don't worry, I'm gonna go get some rubbers out of the trunk. I'm gonna go get a sleeping bag and a yellow blanket. I mean, eventually it was yellow, a blanket, and he was gonna put it in the front seat so he wouldn't get anything on the car seat. And so then he came back. Oh, well, wait a minute. I was undressing then, and I took my bag, I put it over near the hump here, and I started to take off my jeans and stuff, and by the time I was starting to take off my jeans and everything, he came back. I was half undressed, and I was putting my stuff in the back seat. And then I said to him, I helped to rearrange the sleeping bag and everything on the seat, and I went and took a leak and everything. And then I said to him, I said, well, this ain't fair. I said, we agreed upon both of us get nude. I'm the only one nude. And he turned down the dome light and he said, not bad. And I said, well, I don't know, because I've got a lot of stretch marks in the beer belly and everything. And now I think otherwise sometimes. And then he had this kind of smirk on his face and he said, you'll do, and turns off the dome light.
Was he mad?
What a sweet talker. Not bad. You'll do. You'll do. You could just hear it in like the worst grotesque. You'll do.
Was he mad at you for asking him to take his clothes off?
Yeah, I didn't ask him to take his... I haven't asked him yet. I'm starting to now, but
Okay.
I haven't even asked him yet.
Okay.
And that's the next thing I asked him.
Okay.
I said, well, Richard, why don't you take off your clothes and let's get started because it's cold in here, because it was really cold outside. And he rolled down his window and he said, yeah, it is cold. I love cold weather. And then all this wind, because it was windy out, all this wind's blowing in. So I said, hey, Richard, why don't you close the window, man? It's cold, man. And so
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, hold on. It might be coming back. I don't know. My internet might be getting weird, or like on the back end of YouTube, I can see my analytics or whatever, and it popped up a little yellow bar, and it said that it was having trouble, but that bar just went away, so I'm hoping that we'll be all right.
ignoring me, and he said, he started to act like he was unbuckling his pants and unzipping his pants. Then he said, what if I told you I don't have enough money? And like, I'm telling you, I don't really care. I was just doing this for I was really just doing this to pass time, but I wasn't going to do it for free. I got to definitely have to make something out of it because I've got somebody at home I can get my sex from if I need it. And I mean, you know what I'm saying. Okay. So, anyways, I said, how much have you got? And he said, I've only got a little for breakfast and some for gas. And I said, Richard, I said, no way. I said, I'm not here for my health. I said, we made an agreement. I'm sorry, but I guess we're going to have to just call this off. You know, because he's acting like he don't have any money. So I turned around and I had my clothes on top of some boxers.
You're wanting to make someone feel, you're literally about to have sex with someone and like you're wanting them to feel beautiful. You know, you'll do.
Something that were in the back.
And he just unzips his pants. He's not even taking it, he's just zip. You'll do. Who's seen the movie Requiem for a Dream? It's like near the end. It's a really fucked up movie. It's a really good movie, but it's like very, very traumatizing, just to say the least. Like, I don't think I've ever recovered from that movie. But the very end, it's about heroin addicts. And the very end, this chicken went so off the road. You know, she needs money. She is off selling her body, and like she goes to see, and she was pretty hot, right? So, you know, she's like a higher end escort or whatever by the end of the movie, and yeah, she just goes to see one of these dudes and he just unzips and he goes, I'll never forget this. I haven't seen this movie since I was like a teenager, but I'll never forget this scene. And he unzips and he says, and she's just sitting there because he's not doing anything and she's not doing anything. And he's like, I didn't take it out to breathe. Oh my God. It's just like, oh. And it was, but that hit so hard in the movie because it was just like, there's nothing fucking romantic about this. Like, this is dark. This is fucked up.
Something there. I can't remember exactly, but they were on something. And I started to grab them. And as I started to grab my clothes, I saw him coming toward me. And then I was going to turn to look at him, and before I even got a chance to turn to look at him, he whipped a cord around my neck and pulled me toward him.
Okay. Had you told him at that point, I'm not going to have sex with you? Had you said no?
Yes, I told him no way. I said, I'm not here for my health, no way. You know, we're going to have to call this off then.
Okay. Tell us what happened after you felt the cord around your neck.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really nervous, and I'm really getting pretty shy and embarrassed, and this is hard for me, so just bear with me. He put the cord around my neck, and he said, yes, you are, bitch. He said, you're gonna do everything I tell you to do, and if you don't, I'll kill you right now, and I'll fuck you after, just like the other sluts I've done. And then he said, it doesn't matter to me, your body will still be warm for my huge cock. And he said, he was choking me and I was holding it like this, and he said, do you want to die, slut? And I just nodded no. And then he said, are you gonna listen to everything I've got to say? Have you do? And I just nodded yes. And he told me to lay down on the car seat. So when he told me to lay down, he told me to give me my hands. And so I gave him I had to lift up my hands like this, and he tied my hands, and he tied me to the steering wheel.
Okay, where is he in relation to you at this point?
He's sitting in the driver's seat.
Is he behind you?
I'm laid down like this, with my feet near the window.
Okay.
And
okay. And then what happened?
Then he got out of the car. He told me to slide up and get comfortable because he's going to see how much meat he can pound in my ass. So he walked around from the driver's seat to the passenger side and opened the door, and he started to undress. And he's thrown his clothes on the floor. And this is very embarrassing for me. So he got in, and then he lifted my legs all the way up where my feet are near the window.
Okay, what happened next?
Then he began to start having anal sex. Okay. And he's doing this very violent manner, movement. And then I don't know if he came or what, climaxed. I talk street talk, so I don't know if he did that. And he violently took himself out and violently put himself in my vagina.
Were you saying anything to him at that point?
No, I was crying my brains out.
Okay. Was he saying anything to you?
Yes, he was saying that he loved to hear the pain when I moaned, and he loved to hear my crying, and it turned him on.
Then what happened?
Then he pretty much on everything else. Got off. He had bruised my ribs and everything else. And he got off.
Yeah, if this is like, it looks like that the stream is having some issues still. Did it stop? Yeah, I think the stream is. Hopefully it's going to last here. I don't know what's going on. But it is not doing well.
Then he got up, took his clothes, walked over to the driver's side. And then he put his clothes on the hood of the car. He had the door open. Now, went and got the ignition out of the car, went into the trunk and got something out of the trunk. And he brought it back, and it was a red cooler and a blue tote bag. So, anyway, in this red cooler was 2-liter bottles. I think they were Pepsi, I don't know, but they were 2 big bottles full of water, I think. The tote bag had a maroon large towel, something like a white or yellow towel. I was turning my head to see what he was doing when I was tied to the steering wheel, and it was straining my neck, so sometimes I had to put my head back down because I couldn't turn it all the way to see what he was doing. And at one time I asked him, I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm full of surprises, honey, for you tonight." And I turned my head, kept watching, and the dome light was on, so this is how I saw what was coming out of the bag. And then there was a bar soap, toothbrush, rubbing alcohol, and a bottle of Visine.
Actually, I might be able to help you right now.
So then he took the bottle of rubbing alcohol and the bottle of Visine, he put it in front of my face, and he said, "This is what this is." And I'm like, "What?" You know, and he takes the Visine bottle and he puts it on the front of the dash, and he takes the rubbing alcohol and puts it with his other stuff. And this guy begins to take a bath because he had blood all over his penis. And with some other jazz, which I don't think I should say.
Okay. By taking a bath, do you mean he was cleaning himself?
He began to take a bath using this water in the bottle. He put rubbing alcohol, I guess. I don't know if it was rubbing alcohol or what, but later he just poured it all over himself, and he was saying that the last sluts he had, he thought were full of diseases, and he always had to clean himself.
Okay, well, what happened next?
Okay. So he's cleaning himself, blowing me away, and I said to myself, I think this guy is going to kill me. He's going to get rid of me. Or I don't know what he's going to do. Dissect me or something. I don't know what he's got in this bag. Like, he's strange. He is totally weird. So he gets everything. He gets done cleaning. He puts his clothes back on. He gets the cooler, brings it back to the trunk, puts everything in the tote bag, leaves it there. He goes around the passenger side. He grabs the bottle of Visine from the dashboard. He goes around the passenger side. And he says, "This is one of my surprises." Oh, Lord, my ears are ringing. And I'm dizzy a little.
Put your head down for a second. We can wait.
Okay. All right, so he takes the Visine and he lifts up my legs and he puts what turns out to be rubbing alcohol in the Visine bottle, and he sticks some up my rectum area, and that really hurt really bad because he tore me up for a while. And then he put some in my vagina, which really hurt bad. And then he walked around back to driver's seat side, and he pulled my nose open like this. Pulled them open, and he squirted rubbing alcohol down my nose. And he said, "I'm saving your eyes for the grand finale," and he put the Visine back on the dash. And I was really pissed. I didn't care. I was yelling at him and everything else. He was laughing away, saying, "That's what I want to hear. I love it when you start crying and all that pain." So then he...
Damn it. It's like it a lot now. I thought it'd be better now. Yeah, I don't know. It is being shitty. Like, well, right now it's showing that it's okay. Like, so it might be lagging for me where it's, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it'll come back. See, now my little things, I've also, on OBS, I've got this little box down here that's, you know, it's color coded to like tell me what's like, it'll be, right now it's green. When green is good, it'll be yellow. It's like, oh shit. And then it's even hit red a few times is what's making me go, well, this isn't good. So, I'm gonna see if I can finish this video. We'll see where we're at here.
Put it there, and there was a few more items on the car. He put it back in the tote bag. Then he put the tote bag back in the trunk. Closed the trunk. Came back, he had this gray radio, a square gray radio, with 2 speakers on it. Went into the back of the seat, got the gray radio. Then went around the passenger side, made a drink, because he couldn't get through with me tied to the steering wheel. And then he walked back to the driver's side and went underneath the seat and got his marijuana, got his cigarettes off the dash, and I guess he walked over to the front of the car because I couldn't see where he was. And I felt the car move, and he's sitting there, and he cranks up the radio. The window is still open in the car. I'm freezing to death. And so he's just sitting out there listening to radio, and I'm thinking this guy is thinking how he's going to kill me. So I'm trying desperately to get off untied from the steering wheel. I tried 101 times, and he even said, "I can feel you moving in there. Don't worry, you ain't going to get untied unless I untie you." I didn't care. I kept trying and kept moving my body up like this and pulling and pulling. So finally he came back after about an hour. It must have been an hour or so. It seemed like the longest time. And he said, "Finally the cold weather got to me. Do you believe it? I'm getting in." So I'm thinking, how is he going to get in? I'm here, tied to the steering wheel. How can he get in? And he said, "I'm going to untie you from the steering wheel, and you better be a good girl. I'll kill you." He said, so he untied me from the steering wheel. He untied me and put the rope around my neck and held it like a leash around my neck and told me to move over so he could move in. So he moved over. I moved over, and he moved in, and then closed the door, and he's still saying all kinds of jazz about what he wants to do. So then he told me to turn toward him, lay down, and spread my legs. He has all his clothes on. I guess he's just gonna unsip himself. I don't know.
Were you saying anything to him, Lee?
I didn't say nothing. I was scared.
Okay, so then what happened?
I may have said something sardonic to him, like, why you still got your clothes on? Why don't you take your clothes off like you did before? Something. I don't know. I don't recall. I may have. I don't know. Maybe. Too long
Sinead,
ago.
thank you so much. Have a great day.
It took me long. It was hard enough for me to remember these blackouts because this is a blackout situation that I had to remember. So I don't recall every incident, every word and all that. That's hard for me to remember. I'm trying to heart my best to even remember everything he did say.
Okay, just tell us what you do remember. What
Okay,
happened
good.
next?
Okay, so yeah, he had me turn and he wanted to start having sex with me. And he had the rope, not the rope, I later learned it was jacks to a stereo, but it was cut, where there's only one jack. That's how I found out it was jacks to a stereo or something, or TV or something. It was round, gray. So he was holding me like this, like reins. That's when I said, I'm gonna grab this. I grabbed it, it came right out of his hand, I flung it in the back seat.
Did you say to him, I'm gonna grab this, or you were...
No, my mind.
Okay.
I said, grab that, grab it now, do something, you gotta fight. I thought to myself, I gotta fight, I'm gonna die. This guy is gonna play with me, and then he's gonna kill me.
Well, court reporter over here today with the tiny table. Look at this guy, nice beard, bro.
He's already said he's gonna kill me. He's already said he killed other girls. I gotta fight. I just gotta fight for my life.
Man spreading, dude. He's spread out on that thing. He's like, this will do. This is fine.
Plus, now, I was close to the area where my bag was, where my gun was.
Okay, where was your bag?
My bag was near the hump because I had first had it in the right side, but I had to move it because it was in the way for me to get my jeans off. And so I kind of moved it almost on the hump. Actually, it was almost on the hump.
Okay.
I pushed it all the way over so I could get room to move and change.
Okay, so what happened next?
So then, I grabbed it, flung it. Yeah, he takes his left arm, he choking me, and I grabbed he just grabbed me like this, and I grabbed my hand up like this and kept it away. He slapped me really hard in the face, and and he started choking me, but I grabbed his right arm, yes, and I kept it up, and I would got upward with my feet, and I pushed him back, and he kind of
That seems like a lot.
quit struggling and just got up on his knees and said, you're going to be a lot of fun. While he was saying that, I jumped up real fast and I spit in his face. And he said, you're a dead bitch, you're dead. And he's wiping his eyes. And I laid down real quick and I grabbed my bag. And he was starting to come for me when I grabbed my bag and whipped my pistol out toward him. And he was coming toward me with his right arm, I believe. And I shot immediately, and I think I shot twice, as fast as I could.
And then what'd you do?
Then he started coming at me again, and I shot. He stopped. I hurried, kind of pushed him away from me. And he kind of sat up on the driver's seat. I hurried, opened the passenger door, ran around the driver's side, opened the door real fast, looked at him, and he started to come out, and I said, don't come out. Don't come near me. I'll have to shoot you again or something like that. Don't make me have to shoot you again or something like that. He just started coming at me, and I shot, and I don't know where I shot him. I just shot him, and he fell on the ground. And then I pulled him away from the car. You want to hear the rest? What happened?
What happened after you shot him the last time?
Do I remember correctly? And intertwined other victims, so I may be misconstruing and maybe another one. But didn't he have 5 bullet holes? Didn't she shoot him 5 times?
I stood there and looked at him and thought what I'm going to do with the car, and I said, well, I got to drag him away from the car because he's near the car. I'm going to run him over if I don't move him. So I dragged him away. I got back in the car totally nude. I went to reach for the keys and the ignition to start up. It wasn't there. So I ran back to him. I looked in his pockets for his keys, got his keys, went back to the car, started it up, backed up. Headlights, I turned them on. I turned him on, looking at his body. I went back to him, checked his pulse. He was dead. I saw a carpet in front of him because of the headlights. I said, I don't want the birds to be picking at his body. So I grabbed the carpet and I put it over him. Jumped in the car, backed out, took off nude, went back to Quail Run.
Lee, did you take anything else off of him when you went into his pockets other than the car keys?
No.
So you went back to Quail Run?
Yes.
Why did you go back over to Quail Run?
Because I was totally nude and I had to get dressed. And I also had to get my senses together. I was totally crying, shaking, totally scared out of my mind. And I had to change. I had to get on my clothes and everything. And then when I got there, I realized that I had a little bit of blood on me and stuff. So I went into the trunk and got out the stuff he took out. And I started cleaning myself like he did. And then I put my clothes back on. And then I took all the stuff that was in the car and threw it on the floorboard, and I took all my stuff and put it on the seat and just sat there wondering what to do, drinking a beer and thinking, what am I going to do? I just didn't know what I was going to do. And I said, I'm going to have to lay low. I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I can't get out. I'm going to have to drop this car off, whatever. When I saw the radar detector, I said, I'll keep it to pawn it off for food or whatever, because I'm not going to be able to get out on the road now. I'm scared. They're going to find his body. I've got to go and hurry up and dump this car off.
What time is it by this time?
This is, I remember when I was throwing stuff out. I was throwing a bunch of stuff out in the woods. Just kept on throwing. Right now in Quail Run, I drove to another area. I stopped again and I threw a bunch of stuff out in the woods, and I noticed his watch and I checked it. It was 6:30 in the morning.
When do you last remember, in terms of time, that he was alive?
I don't know how long. See, I didn't know what time it was. All I know is he was out there sitting in the car on the hood for about an hour, and I never got to know what time it was.
Okay. All right, so what did you do after that, after you noticed what time it was?
I said, I've got to hurry up and get back to Ty. I'm tired, I'm beat up, I'm hurting all over. My crotch hurts, my vagina hurts, my nose hurts. I'm freaking out. I've got to go take a shower. I mean, these are the things that are going through my mind, you know, as I'm sitting there. I got to hurry up and get rid of this car, go back home, take a shower, hurry up and get this car. I was going to take it to the car wash it, and go drop it off somewhere to get rid of all my prints. I'm so scared now because I just had to kill this guy.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do.
What did you do?
Well, I went back home. And when I got home, my plan was to go to the car wash the car off and everything else, and get rid of it. But when I got there, Maggie, my dog Maggie, and my cat Tyler, Maggie tore the chair all to shreds. She chews carpets too, and she chewed the carpet all to shreds, tore the curtains and the blinds all up. So when I knocked on the door and Ty opened the door for me and I saw this, I said, what?
My little box down here is making the craziest colors. It just made a brown color. That can't be good. Just shit in the bed. Hopefully it's good. I think we might have to stop after this video though, which is sad because look at her face here. Holy shit.
Is this. And she said, I don't know, Maggie and Tyler just got crazy. Why? I was at work. I said, oh my God. And I just realized, you know, that I've got this guy's car. The man, we're supposed to move that day. It totally a coincidence that we were moving that day. We had 3 people that were going to move us at around 5 o'clock after Ty got off. And I said, man, if the manager sees this, he's going to call the cops. He's going to have cops here. I've got the car here, everything. I've got to get rid of the car and everything. So I said, all the boxes everything was ready to move. And I said, let's move now. I've got a guy loaned me a car. Like that, I said to her. And I said, he's waiting at a motel. He's going to let us keep it for just a couple hours to move. I just said it like that. And I told her to call Jane and tell her we're coming over. Just to hurry up and get out of that room because it was totally destroyed. And then she said, what are those hickeys on your neck? And I said, what are you talking about? And so I walked into the bathroom and I looked and I said, oh, no, I must have slapped a mosquito real hard or something. I was trying to ignore it and she kept asking me. She said, I told you, don't you ever go out there with those hickeys on. I mean, get a hickey out there when you're out in the road. And I told her, they're not hickeys, don't worry. I just slapped a mosquito too hard or something. I don't know what it is. And then that was the end of that. And then we hurried up, we got the stuff in, and we just left.
What did you finally do with Richard Mallory's car?
Okay, we got to the new apartment, I hurried up, we put our stuff in. Ty had to hurry up and go to work. I had to go right back to the motel. She had to pick up the moped. I think it was 12-speed. My 12-speed was there too. The moped and 12-speed were together. I decided to put the 12-speed in the back of the trunk, and she took the moped, went to work. I went to the car wash, hurried up and washed the car, cleaned it out. Then I went down John Anderson, went up to a place to park it, and I took the bicycle out, and I was going to ride home. And I was cleaning the car out and make sure about prints. I forgot the glove box, and that's where because I found his wallet underneath the seat, and I went through it to find out if he really was Richard or what his name was and that. And a bunch of credit cards and everything else. And I just threw it in the glove box, and as I was wiping down, I remember the glove, I opened up and I said, oh God, I forgot to throw this out. So I went in the back of the car, I dug a hole, and I put it there, and then I found this darn vodka bottle was underneath the seat, and a couple more glasses were underneath the seat that I didn't notice. So I took them out, put them in, so I started checking underneath the seat really good to get everything. And I was finding like pens, and I was finding little business cards and stuff, and I was just throwing them. I didn't really know what I was doing. When I got done burying the wallet and the glass and the vodka bottle and that and the glasses stuff, the stuff else what I was finding in the car, I was just throwing. I didn't even, just throw the stuff out. Which, see, I didn't know what I was doing here. I was doing this to bury for prints to make sure my prints were on there. Then I was just throwing stuff out, so I didn't have.
Did you take anything out of Richard Mallory's wallet when you were going through it?
Well, he only had about $38 or 42 or 48, something like that. It wasn't very much money.
Did you take it?
Yes.
Did you take any credit cards?
No.
What did you do after you finished throwing things into the woods?
And I got on my bicycle, I started riding, and I just threw the keys into somebody's yard or something. It was like a bush or something. I just threw them. And went back home. That's it. I just went home.
Lee, did you make it clear to men that picked you up that you would not have sex with them without money?
Well, I had 2 guys had sex with me without money once, and I didn't do anything to them, and I had my gun with me. And they just never used a weapon on me. They never hurt me. They weren't really physical or anything on me. They just didn't want me to go unless they had sex. But basically, I told them, I don't do it without money.
Okay. May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what I was probably doing too, right? That's what folks say. She thinks it's probably a different guy.
convicted of a felony?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
One time.
Had you ever had anal sex prior to this time with Richard Mallory?
Never in my life. I always told my clients I don't do anything kinky, anything dirty or nasty. Always decent, clean.
When Mallory started
I just do clean sex, half and half.
getting violent with you, did you try to calm him down? Did you try to talk him down?
Honor, leading.
Rephrase your question.
Did you say anything to Mr. Mallory when he was trying to get violent with you?
I didn't, I couldn't. He was choking me so hard that the blood was running to my head and spots were before my eyes. I couldn't talk. All I could do was help. I was trying to get the cord not to beat.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
So how long is the next one? The next one is, the next one's 2 hours. Oh, whoa, the cross is going to be 2 hours, dude. I'm going to save it because, yeah, my internet's being shitty today. And I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I went upstairs and I stopped because I have a laptop and it was, always playing something or doing something. I turned it off. Turned it off my phone and Cassie's phone. I don't really know what was going on with it. So we will try that again next Sunday. This again next Sunday, and we'll go into cross, man. Because that was very interesting. Again, man, it's Aileen Wuornos one it's split the room many times here, and it's fun to watch. It's been interesting nonetheless. Going back in time. Vern says she should have never testified herself. What's up, Vern? Welcome in here. Yeah, I think if she is gonna lie, she has to just tell the truth. Because when I do feel like she's telling the truth, I feel like, oh shit. But dude, when I pretty much I think I can tell when she's lying, honestly, as well, which isn't good. Yeah, I got your message, Stormy. Should I call you Stormy or Sleuthy Sweetheart? We've got 2 names. I'm terrible with one name half the time. Let's go. Let's click this link here. Okay. All right. Yeah. Here is and like she was talking about in the chat here earlier, Sleuthy's Sweetheart, which is what the channel's called. She posted it here, and yeah, if anybody wants to give her a follow, give her a follow. She's working on 350 subs right now, and it's very hard to grow subs on YouTube. So, yeah, good luck if you do start back going live, though. But yeah, man, I hate that. I want to keep rocking and rolling, but the freaking I think it's good right now, but it's like going in and out and being weird. Stormy, nice. See if I can remember that. I should be able to, especially if you're in Discord. Yeah, good luck, man. It's not easy in the YouTube streets, especially the true crime YouTube streets. I keep looking over here still. The true crime YouTube streets are freaking. They're lit. It's lit. Hell yeah. Nice. Get in there. Fuck yeah. Well, we hit that next goal. There we go. Next goal. That's pretty sweet. Hell yeah. There you go. Getting some of that. Got a few folks in here. I don't have a huge community, but the few folks I do have are freaking awesome. They're amazing. If you've stuck through with Publicly Buzzed through all of my different stages, holy shit. You're at the current best stage. I just want you to know. It's the stage of we're having fun and we're doing whatever the hell we want. And it's been pretty sweet. Oh shit, well, we can't spin a wheel. Hold on. We'll spin the wheel real quick. This is for a t-shirt for all the beautiful people that came through on the secret wheel. And again, the secret wheel, I should have one next week if I can get my video finished up. Every 2 to 3 weeks I have a new video over on WrestlePlunge. And if the Buzz Nation folks, the beautiful people here, come through and give it a comment, give it a like, give it all the things, give it some love, I put those people on a secret list for a free t-shirt from publiclybuzzed.com. I have a lot of really cool shirts on there. So let's see who's going to get it. Ooh, this was a good one to get on because it wasn't as big. Oh, just a crazy Jen. If you're still in here, congratulations. G member for sure. Picking up a win and getting a t-shirt for just commenting, for just coming through, for just being amazing. So I will always probably, maybe not always, but I'm going to keep doing it for a while because it's honestly, it helps me out, guys. I'm telling you right now, if I can get my beautiful people over here to go over and then get that initial video release pumping, oh my God, it's helped a lot. All my videos have done really well, and I put a lot of work into those, so I couldn't be happier with it. Couldn't be happier with it. It's awesome. Let's see the sound. Let's see if these are working after I didn't do them for a minute. Brooklyn, so. Yeah. Yeah. Got my bell. Got Holly Berry.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Got my bone crack. Is one of my favorites. Hopefully those keep rocking too. Maybe that's part of what is even, I don't know. I mean, it's just cold. It isn't even like snowing here. So hell yeah, she did see. Fuck yeah. Congratulations. She already has shirts also. Do publiclybuzz.com. Go check out publiclybuzz.com. Lots of really cool shirts. Oh, Lord. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Well, if you do watch the replay, I do apologize for, because Aileen Wuornos was on the stand. She'll also be back next week for Cross, but I do apologize just because it's real glitchy. I think it's real glitchy. Happy New Year. That's right. This was the first stream of the new year, and it's glitchy. That ain't a good start. That ain't a good start. That's not what I want to see. No. No, no. No, no. There we go. Wearing a pit shirt right now. The pit shirt rules. And I still need to get another. I gotta have two that I had two and I only did one. I just keep forgetting. Damn. Let me look at it. How cold is it actually here, Vern? In West Virginia. What are we looking at? I gotta go out. I gotta go shopping. Especially with the diet here. We are looking at currently 33. It's cold. It sucks. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get up to 40. Woo! I'll start cooking. Yeah, the bone crack will be good on WrestlePlunge. Yeah, tonight. Actually, let me set this up to go. Well, fuck. I guess tonight. I don't know. Guess we'll try it. I'm going to redirect this into my WrestlePlunge stream tonight. 6 Eastern. Every Sunday night on there, I stream for about 2 hours. So if you get over there, if you find yourself there, hit the like. Help me out. Jesus. I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't like that. That sucks. This was like a really, this is going to be, if anybody is watching back through, they're going to probably tune out of that one. That blows. Oh my God. Oh my God. Those are crazy good numbers. We were in like 45-ish yesterday. Yesterday wasn't bad. Yep. But yeah, we're gonna call it a morning. We're gonna call Murder Church a little bit early just because of the lagging. We'll try Wrestle Plunge tonight at 6, like I said. Otherwise, have a great Sunday, and I'll see you Tuesday night for some book club, but also for some body cam stuff. We'll do it. Let's go. Boom. Have a great day, everyone. Congrats, Jen.
Nothing to see here, please.